All right, and we are live. Sorry, folks, for the little delay there. I was trying to get OBS to kick over to the right thing to send it over, and it just sent us over to the next scene because OBS is a pain that way. And what would a stream be without a few little technical difficulties? So, thanks for joining us. We are here on Variant Roles with another Variant Roles Presents with the Bleeding Edge, the series of sci-fi one-shots we are running with Monty Cook Games' Cypher system, which is perhaps my favorite RPG system of all time. And thanks once again to Monty Cook Games for hosting us. We definitely appreciate it, and all of you for tuning in. So, as usual with our Cypher one-shots, I am your Game Master, Dan Gaston, at MadSciDM on Twitter, and I'm very quickly going to shut up so we can get to know our fantastic new players that we have here this evening. So I will kick it over, and I may occasionally, because we've got some new players, I will forget names, and I will beg apologies. But we'll start down in my lower left with Litsa. How are you doing this week?
Good. We doing character introductions too?
Yeah. Let us know who you're playing and all that fun stuff.
Right. I'm Litsa at Litsa Bronwyn on Twitter, and I am tonight playing a guarded speaker who works the system. Jethro Kane is sort of an emo goth vegan pacifist animal lover computer hacker. Still dresses the same he did when he was a teenager, mostly to throw off suspicion, like he wants to be people to not think whatever.
Hence the beanie and hoodie.
It works, so he doesn't look like much, but he's a little bit of a whiz kid. Yeah, that's all for me.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Litsa. And so we will continue over here along my bottom of the overlay screen with Chael. Am I saying that right, or is it?
Yes, Chael.
Okay, Chael. Excellent.
That is correct. My name is Chael. Twitter tag is Chael881, just completely random numbers. I am playing Eleanor Dennis. She is a mad explorer who will lead in the near future. So basically, I'm crazy. I hear voices. That's the whole reason why I'm here. My voice told me to.
Excellent. And I mean, this is a transhumanist setting, so there could be all kinds of interesting explanations for the voices that she hears and why she is the way she is. So maybe we will find some of that out. I am excited to find out.
Me too.
All right. Excellent. And last but certainly not least, we have Alexis.
Hello, I am Alexis. I play on Dice Priori, and this is my first time on Variant Roles. I'm very excited to be here. And I have an announcement we can talk about at the end, but we have some exciting stuff happening at Dice Priori that I'm really excited about. And I am playing Loretta Rain. She is a hideous technological speaker who leads. And you can see from her face she may have been potentially attractive at one time, but she is all manner of scarred up something fierce. She has some tousled, like, mousy brown hair, and she's like, well, I'm all scarred up. She doesn't seem to care too much else about her appearance, and she seems to have you wouldn't be able to see it unless her hair were off to the side or something, but she has a port at the base of her skull, and she's got one in each wrist.
Excellent. I love it. That sounds great. All right, so tonight's scenario with the Bleeding Edge, so the player primer I handed out to everyone, is our first time stepping outside of Earth's solar system through the Obelisk network to a far solar system on the other edge of the Milky Way galaxy. So all of you work for Advanced Explorers Incorporated, a wholly owned subsidiary of Monolith Systems, which is a company that people who've tuned into our other games may have heard of. But you are all also operatives for an organization known as Watchtower. And Watchtower is very much a secret society that is sworn to safeguard humanity, or rather to safeguard transhumanity, because in many cases artificial intelligences and things like that are considered part of transhumanity. Sworn to safeguard transhumanity against existential threats, so things that threaten the very existence of transhumanity as it is, and are very suspicious of, among other companies, but the big one is Monolith Systems. Watchtower very much regards Monolith as a not good company who does very bad things. And so as operatives, you have been inserted inside as moles to keep an eye out. But as part of your day job for Monolith, through Advanced Explorers Incorporated, you have been tasked to explore a derelict ship elsewhere in a far solar system that does not appear to be of human origin. So, the ship you arrive on, very much your human sort of runabout shuttle, has transited through the obelisk network. The obelisks are these large, almost skyscraper-sized crystal towers that are found in various solar systems, presumably across the universe, but definitely across the galaxy. And there is one on the trans-Neptunian object far out in our own solar system. And we're transited here, sort of almost Stargate-esque, sort of, wormhole opens and your ship goes rocketing through and comes out near a similar obelisk in this other solar system. And you can see the ship that you're approaching, and it is large. It is a large, oblong sort of egg, kind of like a flattened egg shaped object, and it's about 1 kilometer long and about half a kilometer across at its widest point. So it is a massive ship. Yours, by comparison, is maybe 100 meters long, if that, and most of that is engine space. You've got some small like bunks and things like that to get where you are going. But we are going to pick up with you entering the alien ship. So the ship you are on has an AI that is capable of piloting it, and is usually happiest when none of you attempt to pilot it, because it very much considers itself the superior pilot. And it has scanned the alien vessel and found several places where it could dock. And it is giving you the option. So it's done a little bit of a scan of the interior of the ship and mapped out where it thinks like some likely things are. So obviously near the rear of the ship is engineering, presumably the engine compartment, that sort of thing. Sort of the middle sections of the ship are presumably, it thinks, something like crew quarters and cargo holds. It's a very much like a honeycomb kind of structure. And at the front of the ship, but nestled well back, is where it thinks that maybe is like the command section of the ship. And there are what appears to be weapons emplacements all over. But the ship is dark, so it doesn't have any power. And the best estimates put it that this thing has been floating in space as a piece of junk for like 10,000 years. So it is older than the hills, and definitely by that metric could not possibly be human. So where would you like to dock? You sort of have your engineering, crew and cargo section, or command.
Do we know what the life support systems are like on this hunk of metal?
So the AI of your ship, and we should give it a name. What is the name of your ship?
Ooh, that is a good question. Did
Just
we check before we boarded?
Yes, you would all know what the name of your ship is. This is just throwing to you as players if you have any ideas on what you would like to call your ship.
Tallulah.
Tallulah? I like Tallulah.
I like Tallulah.
All right.
Sure. Tallulah the Black Queen. We are stealth anyway, aren't we?
Yes. You have to be.
Oh, yes. Yes. So Tallulah has a very much anti-detection systems. She is a sleek ship made of like a dark, very much like a black, almost carbon composite, hull. She is dark as the night, and Tallulah tells you that there is definitely no life support on that hunk of junk, but you have your spacesuits. You'll be okay.
Your ships are always the sexiest characters in our game.
Why, thank you. What good is having an AI-powered spaceship unless it is smooth?
Exactly.
It has to be smooth.
Beautiful. I can get behind this. All right. So, any ideas on what's the most secure location to be boarding this?
Well, if you were going to ask me where someone could board me safely, I would suggest that the crew and cargo quarters probably has, if there are still any sort of operational defense systems, and I can't imagine there being so after such a length of time, but stranger things have happened. Crew and cargo is probably the safest. Engineering and command are probably the most likely to have defenses of some kind.
All right. What do y'all think?
I'm all for command, but you're the leader.
I'm not the only one here who leads.
Yeah, but
So
she's mad.
Am I crazy? I think we should go for the command center.
Let's do it.
Let's
Consensus
go with
reached. Here
All
we
right.
go.
So Tallulah comes in. Your ship initiates a good burn. Comes in on what Tallulah thinks is likely the command quarters. Initiates docking as best she can with what would have been an airlock, but presumably doesn't actually function anymore. But forms a seal between your ship and the alien vessel. It indicates so you have all of what you would need for space exploration. So you have spacesuits with its own air supply, self-sealing system. So it's fully tactical, and it's as light or heavy as you want, so it can qualify as your armor. And you've got magnetic boots, which are very handy for any ships that do not have operational artificial gravity, which you're assuming that this rusted hunk of junk does not have.
I don't go anywhere without my magnetic boots. Not after the incident. All right.
They're branded and sponsored by Red Wing.
Thank you, Tallulah.
Oh, only too happy to oblige.
Well,
Smooth.
you are much better at this than any of us. Anyway, ladies, shall we?
Let's go. The voices agree. Let's go.
Suiting up, getting over.
All right. So you wait, and in your airlock, Tallulah cycles the air, and finally the outer airlock sort of cycles open. You've got lights and things like that on your helmets of your suits, and there's sort of this flexible umbilical structure extending from your ship and connecting into the alien one. And when you traverse in, you find yourself in a interesting layout of a room. So you're used to human ships. You've seen human ships. And they're very much, we build them kind of like how we built boats and things like that, we think of things like floors and walls and ceilings, and they have a very normal 2D up-down type structure. This room, it is clear that that is not the case. Everything is rounded, so the outer, section of the ship is very rounded. So there's no discernible like floor, walls, and ceiling because it is all just one rounded surface with everything projecting into the middle. So especially with your magnetic boots on, you just walk. There is, one of you could be standing on the floor and the other person could be standing on the ceiling, and that would very much fit the orientation of the room.
This is ingenious.
Eleanor
I didn't-
starts walking up.
Yeah,
Well,
and
this is new. Is there any gravity on this ship at all?
there
Does our
is
hair move with us, or?
Well, so everything's in your helmets, and so within the confines of your helmet, things would be floating. So there is currently no gravity. So there may have been at one time artificial gravity systems, but all the
Definitely
power
not
is
now.
off. Yeah,
Perfect. Yes. All right. Do we see any systems in this room that we can maybe get some information from? See if there's any power left.
Yeah, so there's definitely what look to be consoles scattered around the room with these almost like a chair, but it's kind of designed like a saddle stool sort of structure that are seated up next to them. There's some power cables and things like that around. Everything is dark, and it seems like if you're going to try and access a computer system, it would need some sort of external power source.
Yeah, Jethro's gonna go right over to that shit like it's chocolate cake on his birthday.
Excellent.
Get on that.
Start poking around, see if you can hook up a battery to anything.
Okay.
Panels off the wall and shit.
Yeah, so you do that, and things look somewhat familiar. I mean, it is clearly different than you're used to, but you have some experience with non-human designs. So there's always some things. There are some things that clearly look like power ports.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Loretta. There's power ports you want to plug in?
You or me, I don't care which.
He's gonna pull out a device. It's sort of like a wireless thing. He doesn't have like the physical ports or anything. His parents were always super like human purity racists, and so he never really got any work done. But he's gonna try to jack in.
Okay. And do you have anything to hook up, like a battery or something as well, to supply like actual electrical power?
Yeah, if I could have one of my equipments.
Absolutely. We'll say mark off one of your pieces of inexpensive equipment for like a pretty decent sized battery.
Okay. Yeah, and he'll hook all that up.
Okay. So you hook that up and you attach your sort of, your Bluetooth dongle, basically. You plug into it and try and establish a wireless connection with an alien computer. So we will have our first roll of the night. So I will have attempting to connect to an alien computer at all. I am going to say that this is a fairly difficult task. So I'm going to call this a level 5 task. So that would give a target number of 15 or higher on a d20 roll, because we multiply the level by 3 to get our difficulty that we have to roll. But I am going to, let's start going through what you have to reduce the difficulty. So I'm going to assume you've got some specialist equipment of some kind.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe if you have room for an expensive piece of equipment, that it's a computer with like specialist software for interfacing with, non-human computer systems.
Definitely seems like something I would have brought.
Okay, so that's an asset. So we'll say that reduces the difficulty. You know what? This is a special asset. I'm going to say this reduces the difficulty by 2, which is the maximum that an asset can reduce difficulty.
Sweet.
So the computer alone takes it from a 5 to a 3. And do you have any skills for this?
I have machine interface, which decreases the difficulty of discerning the level function of activation. But I also have hack the impossible, which I feel like might apply better.
Okay.
Because I can persuade automatons, machines, and computers to do my bidding.
Perfect.
Ooh.
I love it, and I like the application of it. The question here is Jethro sort of sweet talk persuasive or strong arm persuasive?
Man, that's hard. He's quiet, but probably definitely more the softer approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So he whispers sweet nothings into the circuitry and.
Sure.
Okay.
Is there any possibility that we can aid?
You can. So people can also help. Although, if I remember correctly, the aid of people also counts as an asset. And assets sort of top out at 2 in terms of how much they reduce it.
So we're already there. Never mind.
So we're already there. But yes, otherwise you absolutely can aid in a task. And now, of course, your final thing that you could do is you could apply some effort. So this is an intellect task. So you can spend 3 points from your intellect pool, reduced by edge if you have an edge in intellect, and that will reduce it 1 more step.
So how far down are we before the effort?
So we went to a 3 with the asset, and then to a 2 with your skill. So we're looking at a target of 6 or higher on your D20 roll at the moment. It's pretty clutch, so establishing a connection.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and expend effort.
All right. And do you have an edge in intellect?
I do, but hack the impossible is already 2 ends.
Oh, right, because you need to activate that, right? So,
more technically.
Yes, that sounds right. Perfect.
All right, and that is an 18. Sweet.
All right.
Yes.
So with an
She likes
8, so with an 18, that gets you a major effect as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you establish a connection in record time. Like normally this would be a task that takes a good, 10, 20 minutes to like establish the right protocols, requires you to do some coding, adapt your systems. Everything works super quick. So your connection just like ding, 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 everything lights up. And not only that, your computer systems, like your specialist software intrusion, there was enough similarities to some other alien artifacts that have been found in the past that it also manages to translate so that most of what you see is not just gibberish. So you actually start seeing things that make sense, which is often not the case.
That's awesome. And be like, man, this thing's really intuitive, actually. Start poking around inside of it.
Very, very nice. What do you see in there?
What do I see?
Yeah, so you applied power to a single console, and it appears that this is a distributed computer network, throughout the ship. And so a single console doesn't have access to everything, but it does have access to quite a lot. And there's a lot of standard stuff that presumably every terminal has in its memory cores. Of course, even after 10,000 years, some of the crystal-based memory has degraded a little bit, but not much. It's pretty stable. And so you have access to things like ship layouts, so like maps and all of that sort of thing, which is very handy. And there's a lot of other information that you could start to sort through, and those would be additional tasks. And since you have established the connection already, this is the kind of thing that you could share these connections in various ways with your compatriots if they have relevant ways of accessing data systems. Or you can just bring up the terminal and start clickety-clacking on it the old-fashioned way.
I'll start transferring stuff to my data pad, like the maps, and it's going through stuff.
Yeah, so the maps you can definitely pull pretty easy. That seemed like a thing that was like very easily accessible. And that's basically because of your major success. You know, you get some free access data just for establishing the connection. But that task was really just for interfacing with the computer.
Yeah,
so
I definitely want to keep doing the computer thing until someone tells me to stop. My plan.
Are there any systems on board that if we turn on will pose a threat to us?
I will attempt to look for that.
Okay. So I am going to call, like searching through everything in this case. That would be finding something like that. That's relatively straightforward. We'll call that a 4, a difficulty, like a task level of 4, intellect.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that the fact that things have been translated for you is an asset that will reduce it by 1. So we're down to a 3 already before any other search-related skills or things like that.
I have hacker gain quick access to his desired bit of information in a computer or similar device.
That sounds great. So that will bring it down to a 2.
Awesome.
I have machine interface. The difficulty of discerning the level, function, and activation of technological devices that you touch is decreased by 1 step for 1 minute.
Okay, so I'd say with that you can provide some additional aid as you basically help Jethro do searches. And so we'll count that also as an asset and reduce it by 1 more step to a 1.
Beautiful. And that says it costs me 1 intellect point, but I have an edge of 1. So
that's right. So you basically spend 1 and then you subtract 1 off and it becomes free.
Beautiful.
That's a 6.
All right, perfect. So yes, you go searching for, things that might hurt me, and it does appear that the ship does indeed have lots of automated defense systems. How operational they are, you can't tell because your single terminal doesn't have access, like the network through the ship isn't active, so you can't like ping a query to them, but you get like a manifest essentially that just lists the kind of defense systems that the ship has. It has things like hard light shields, there's like automated turrets, there's like nanomechanical sentries, so there's things on like doors that are like anti-intrusion systems. There's software based, like basically like reverse malware, right? So like if you installed McAfee and instead of just telling you that a virus attacked you, it targeted the computer that was infecting you and trashed it. It's got things like that. You haven't appeared to activate any of those yet, which is good.
Is there any way to get to find out where they are and mark them on the map? Or is it all
yeah, so I would say that a lot of that stuff probably then sort of you can match it up with your map. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Now, can Eleanor get a fit of insight to see if she can discern anything in the room? Does her voices tell her anything while she's pacing the ceiling?
Beautiful.
Absolutely. So Eleanor is walking around, and now is that an ability that you spend, or?
See, the GM feeds you information, although there is no clear explanation as to how you can know such a thing. GM's discretion.
Okay, and does it say that it has a cost, like it costs an intellect, or?
No.
Okay. Just see here.
Come on, voices, tell us something good.
Zoom on this. All right. So I think when you're walking around and, just trying to suss out, this space, you feel like you are being watched.
Guys, I think we're being watched.
Say what, Eleanor?
I think we're being watched. Does anybody else feel that?
Well, now I do.
I think
No.
I feel. I hear eyes. I hear eyes.
Oh, good.
You hear eyes.
Yes.
Cryptic as always. Great. So any systems we can find that are maybe observing us?
I want to search for life forms using this computer.
Ooh.
All right.
Possible medical pods, anything that bacteria, anything.
Yeah.
All right. So the terminal you have access to, let's see if you can find any sort of connection to scanning infrastructure and that sort of thing. And of course, it might require power of some sort. So let's call this a level 4 intellect search.
All right. Can I use the hacker ability again?
Yep.
Count as desired bit of information. And
Perfect.
I also want to apply effort.
Okay. So
Does
that
my
brings
machine
it.
interface still help, or has that been?
Yeah, no, you can be aiding her aiding him, Jethro, in the search. And so
He's
that
my
will
big
reduce it to a 1.
All right. Are you I rolled a 2.
All right. So yeah, you're searching through and you cannot seem to find any kind of way to connect to a scanning system.
Do I know where a computer might be that I could
Don't seem to have any of that information.
Okay.
You do know on your map that in the crew section that there are like medical facilities there. Whether they can scan the whole ship is not clear, but that's the only place you know of that would have sort of science-y bioscanner type stuff.
Okay.
Eleanor, so you hear eyes, and that's quite literal. It's almost like you can hear the blinking, that eyes make.
No.
And it really feels like it's coming from all around you.
I think the eyes, they're everywhere.
I would like to use a cipher.
Okay. And what cipher would you like to use?
I have a surveillance kit. I leave a piece, and then we take a piece with us, and we can see.
All right.
Like a little hidden security camera. And I want to put it somewhere in this room so when we leave, we can see if aliens pop out.
Okay, that sounds great.
Because she's freaking me out.
All right. So roll a d6 for me.
Okay.
We'll see what the level of this cipher is.
Be good to me. It's a 2.
A 2. So 2 plus 2, so it is a level 4 cipher. So the cipher hides the location at a level equal to the cipher level plus 2. So that's plus 6, and it will last for a day.
That's plenty of time. Hopefully, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. So what does your surveillance kit look like?
It comes in like a little black box, and the security camera bit. It's tiny. So you has to take a minute to like position it just right. Because it's kind of easy to get wrong, like either upside down or backwards or something. But the rest of it is like the size of a makeup case almost, where the top part is a little screen and there's like little earbuds to hear through.
Okay.
But it's all very small and yeah.
Perfect. All right. So you put your little camera and all of that in a good location. You find a good place to hide it. And then you've got the rest of it sort of tapped into your general gear that you have. So you can choose to see and hear through it at any time.
Cool.
So as you are placing that in, Eleanor, I would like to intrude. So this is a thing from Cypher. I did forget to tell you all at the first of the screen to mark down somewhere that you have 1 experience point. Because experience is kind of like a currency in Cypher. You can spend it to re-roll a dice roll. You can also spend 1 experience point to refuse an intrusion if you want. Although if you accept the intrusion, you get 1 experience point for yourself and you get to give 1 point to somebody else.
Okay.
Most people accept intrusions because they're usually fun.
They are fun. They make all the bad things happen.
So should you accept my intrusion, you can mark down another experience point, so that'll take you to 2, and let us know who you want to give the other one to.
Let's give it to Jethro.
All right, excellent. So both of you can have 2 experience, or 1 experience
Total.
to take you up to a total of 2. All right, so Eleanor, as you are wandering around the room, and you could just hear these eyes blinking, and it's causing you a great deal of distraction, because all you can hear is that wet sound of eyelids blinking. Yeah, slamming almost like doors. And part of the wall that you're walking by starts to writhe. It undulates as if thousands of legs are unfolding from the wall. And as they unfold, it unfolds itself out of darkness, and something like a spider of abnormal size, and in fact 2 of them, crawl out of the wall. In fact, it's like they were part of the wall and they have unfolded and budded off near to you. And they are skittering onto the floor, and these large heads with sort of mandibular-like structures focus on you, and you can see sort of, red eye sockets, and they're very mechanical. These are very clearly mechanical, sort of start to whirl and rotate and zoom in, looking at everyone quite menacingly. What do you do?
Eleanor definitely screams and jumps back. Definitely not okay.
Yeah, Jethro's gonna whip around, see what's going on.
Yeah, and they're...
Physical skills. I'm trained in 2 skills. So balancing and climbing.
Okay. So you are trained in balancing and climbing.
Yes.
And yes, so these like mechanical spider-like creatures are standing, staring at you, and start advancing on you. Like one of them sort of on you, and one of them sort of a little bit more where Jethro and blanking Loretta, sorry.
yeah.
On Loretta, where they are. So what are you guys gonna do? What are you folks gonna do?
I would like to spin identity. I
Okay.
would like. I have this ability that says I can convince all intelligent creatures who can see, hear, and understand me. I don't know if that caveat's going to work here, but that I am someone or something other than what I actually am. So not
Okay.
a specific individual, and I would like to say we're here to help, and say something along the lines of, I don't know what organization would be, like a first responder, but I'm going to try to be that.
Okay.
We're here to make sure everyone is okay here. You need any assistance? Can we be of any aid? There's no need to be threatening here.
All right.
I'm only here to help.
So let's see. Your spin identity. Does it? So it costs you 2 intellect.
Okay.
Okay.
I have the edge of 1, so that's 1 intellect.
So it'll cost you 1 intellect. Yep. Okay.
Eleanor almost
And-
got better.
Oh, right. And so there's 2 creatures, so you spend an additional point if you're trying to fool both of them.
All right, so 2 points total, right? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see. Okay. And so it'll still be a roll. It doesn't, like, it's not an automatic thing, but it basically, gives you a big boost that if it works really well, from my interpretation. Because it does say you don't need a disguise, but a good disguise will almost certainly be an asset to the role involved. So this will be an intellect interaction, and you are trying to fool this creature, and it is a level 3.
Okay. And
So you're looking at a target number of 9.
With my natural charisma, I'm trained in all social interactions.
Perfect. So that will reduce it to a 2.
Okay. And and I also have, would these creatures be considered hostile towards me? Because I have fast talk, but that relies on whether or not they're hostile.
They seem like they are hostile.
Okay. All right. We'll take the difficulty of 2.
Okay.
That's a 10 on the die.
Okay. So you start spinning some bullshit, right? And about, to these creatures. And oddly enough, for alien entities that probably do not quite understand you, they sort of like stutter in place, sort of confused, and at least they stop moving.
All right. Is there a way we can figure out how to communicate? Can you understand me?
And, their heads kind of tilt very dog-like quizzically at you.
I would like to attempt to hack them. But
Okay.
like softly so I don't piss them off. Like
Beautiful.
in a way where it seems like I'm just trying to communicate maybe rather than like control them or shut them down.
Okay. So yes, go ahead. So yes,
they impossible.
They are. Yeah, they're a level 3 creature.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say, so you have 2 options.
Mm-hmm.
You can do like a hacking, which is really more like it's gonna attack their intellect, as it were, right, and cause damage, and that will be just as them as a level 3. Trying to hack them to like really like take them over is much more difficult.
Right.
And I'm going to say that that's a level 5.
Okay. Well, I don't want to hurt him. My poor soft boy. He doesn't want to hurt things.
Yeah, so if you just want to like take them over, then you can do that, but that's just going to be a bit harder at a level 5.
Okay.
Jethro.
I'm gonna hold off, I think.
Okay.
If it seems like they get hostile again, then I want to try to basically do what Loretta did and try to calm them down again. But so long as they seem okay with us.
Yeah, they're not doing anything at the moment. They've kind of just stopped and are staying where they are.
All right. Do I think that I would be able to communicate with them?
Yeah. Probably not. It's somewhat surprising that they did anything with like the rampant BS spinning. They can clearly hear, but they're not communicating back to you.
Okay.
Now, can I use one of my intellect points for my good advice? Or my, intellect points?
Yeah, so you've got good advice.
Yes.
Yes.
Got all those voices. One of them is bound to have something.
One
good
of them
to
has
say.
got to be.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Voice is telling me something.
That's right.
Yeah, so basically the way that will work is you spend an intellect point, you give another character some instruction, and that will count as them being trained in the action. Sort of, it says like for 1 round, so it's sort of like the next thing they do, sort of pretty immediately.
So, who had proficiency in hacking? Jethro?
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to give that to you to see if we can get any information from these spiders birthed from eyeballs.
All right.
So Jethro's already trained in hacking. So this is more like as if someone's gonna do something that they're not normally skilled in.
I'm not normally skilled in linguistics. Is that a thing I could be skilled in?
There you go.
Linguistics. Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm going to then with this new ability to use linguistics. I'm going to try to say, is there a way you can help us communicate with each other? I am here to help. Help me help you.
Excellent. All right. So you're going to sort of have this social interaction with the creature. And so, yes, you will be trained in the linguistics aspect of this. So that will reduce the difficulty by 1. So it was a 3, so that will reduce it to a 2.
Okay. And is this count as a social interaction? Does my natural charisma help me?
Yes, absolutely. So that will bring it down to a 1.
All right. Okay, I rolled a 3. Does that do it?
That is a success. Yes,
okay.
That is a success. So you start. You're still connected to the computer, which you've done some translation with. So you sort of get some ideas from there and start communicating as best you can with this creature. And so what kind of information do you want to get from it?
I'm trying to ascertain if there's a way that we can speak with each other more easily.
All right.
And just try to facilitate communication.
All right. So the spider, spider-like thing kind of ambles over to the console that you are connected to and sort of lifts up on its back forelegs and sort of takes its front two and starts tapping at a bit of its abdomen, which then slides aside and reveals a port that can be connected to.
Do I sense any attempt of deception, like trying to get me to do something that it will be in my worst interest?
No, because it seems like your first thing you did with your spin identity kind of worked, and so it's sort of fooled into thinking that you're a legitimate person to be here.
All right, I will go ahead and plug in.
Okay. And so you plug in.
I'm now one with the spider.
You plug in, and it sort of establishes a connection, much like to the terminal that you're also connected to. So you're basically connected to this little mind of this sort of drone, and it's really just like talking to any other computer. It's not totally dumb, but it's not super smart either.
Okay. All right. What happened to you and your ship?
And so it sort of spools forth like some information, and you get a few little snippets of video of presumably from this drone, like a video feed of some sort of battle with other drones that look very different, sort of cylinders that are floating on air and spitting out, weapons fire.
Man, BattleBots really went off the deep end.
Yeah. And you do get some glimpses of something that looks almost like an octopus sort of thing, and they appear to be the aliens that were operating the ship alongside the drones. And so you just get like this some rapid fire video feeds of some sort of battle, and then it kind of blacking out.
All right, well, Jethro, Eleanor, I've attempted to ascertain that these creatures were attacked, and these drones were not the only thing on board this vessel at the time. Are there any injured still aboard?
And it sort of just sends back a big question mark. It has no idea.
We could check medical. If they have some kind of cryo-freezing or a way to preserve themselves.
That seems wise.
And we can keep an eye on this room if we need to.
And you do know if you ever found a sentient living alien, that would be like a massive, big thing.
Okay.
You found there's alien artifacts and technology that have been found, but the only sentient creatures are humans and AIs and things like that.
So while we're in medical, even if we don't find any survivors, we'll want to gather as much intel on whatever creatures these were as we can.
Definitely.
All right.
As long as we can get out of the room with the eyes.
I'm pretty sure these are the eyes, dear. So let's. I'll have the drones walk on first.
So they don't seem inclined to take orders. They sort of send some queries back, and it seems like they're asking for pretty in-depth security protocols to order them. But basically you're able to sort of make them not hostile, but they don't really necessarily see you as someone to take orders from.
Right.
I would like to attempt to persuade them.
Okay.
Can I do that now? Seems like a good time.
You're poured into this other one here.
All
Or
right.
this one. I got her warmed up.
All right. I will. I'll pour it into the same one if I can treat her as an asset. That would be awesome.
Okay. So this is going to be quite difficult depending on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I want to persuade them to take orders from us.
Okay. So this is going to be difficulty level 6 task.
Okay.
Try and override their security protocols.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use Hack the Impossible, and I'm going to spend effort.
Okay. So that brings it down to a 4. Okay. We're looking, and the asset's a 3. Yeah. So,
okay.
So this is a 9 or higher.
All right. I'm going to give it a go. Nope. Actually, can I spend one of my experience points to reroll?
You can certainly do that.
What I want to do. Roll better. 10.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. So the computer or the spider that you're both jacked into, you sort of managed to hack past its systems and take it over. Yes. And it's now like, command accepted.
Spider drone of our own.
That's right. Do I sense that it's definitely an AI? Like it's
sort of. I mean, it's kind of low. It's not too smart.
Okay. What qualifies as sentience in this universe?
It's really hard to say. There's no like specific level, but
okay. Jethro thinks it's sentient, then that's the kind of person he is.
It seems self-aware. It's just not super smart.
Okay, nobody heard it. It's alive.
All right. Well, I guess we all make our way to medical with one of them in tow, it seems.
All right.
Eleanor.
Or no?
Eleanor. Yeah, you have one of them in tow. Eleanor, you feel like medical is a bad place.
Guys, maybe the voices are telling me that maybe we shouldn't go this way. We shouldn't. I'm not going this way.
What way? There's one door out.
Yeah, we're not going to medical.
Look, we're here for reasons, and we have only a certain amount of avenues to achieve those goals. Where else do you suggest we go?
I need another intellect point for good advice to see if maybe I can get a better direction for us to go in, since medical is clearly bad.
So the good advice will like basically works by sort of like temporarily consider it sort of like a bardic inspiration. So it gives like a boost to somebody. So if, for instance, someone was going to come up with a plan or try and navigate to somewhere else, and they didn't have any particular skill in navigating, orienteering, then you could give them sort of like some inspiration that would sort of, you'd be like, well, I once heard that if you take only rights, you'll eventually get to, and then they would be skilled in navigating. Right. Yeah.
While I'm still plugged into the computer, I want to try to see if there are any science labs or experiments going on.
So you've already pulled the maps, and the only place that seems, at least for biological stuff, would be medical.
Okay.
I have a really bad feeling about medical. I don't feel like we should be there. Maybe we could pick a different room.
I have an idea. I'm going to take my surveillance camera,
Mhm.
and I'm going to stick it to the front of the droid.
Beautiful.
And then I'm going to be like, why don't we go near medical and then we can send the droid in? Is that
So-
okay?
So your surveillance package, once you deployed it in a given
It doesn't work
location,
anymore?
it's like it's fixed.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right, never mind then.
Would the droid be willing to go into the room and maybe come back out and tell us what it saw?
We can ask.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's taking your orders, so yes.
Okay, let's do that because I don't think we should walk into the room. Let's listen to the spider.
Okay.
All right. So
Awkward medical.
so you managed to find your way through the ship, and it's quite interesting because of how the floors work, right? Where they're like, the tunnel's like a big tube. The ship is like a series of tubes that connect through, and so you can walk on anywhere, and you sort of have to because there's intersections that go in all directions as you go through the ship. So you're like walking and then you kind of go up the wall and start walking this way. And, your mag boots and things like that, it seems okay. And, since there's no actual gravity, it doesn't really feel any different. You pretty quickly orient to your new orientation. So you find yourself outside what seems to be a door. It's like an iris closed door. Like a closed metal thing that looks like it opens up into the walls. And it's got some symbols on it, which you don't understand at all. But according to your maps, this is the entrance to medical.
Yes,
Eleanor's just got her doing this. No.
Eleanor, pull yourself together. All right. What is there anything that would raise any red flags to us just that meets the eye?
It's
medical.
There's no like windows or anything. The door's just closed. Yeah, as you've been moving through the ship, you see like old battle damage. But remember that the ship's been floating around for 10,000 years, but in vacuum, so things are preserved. So there's like old scorch marks and things like that on walls. You would have seen like some destroyed drones and things like that of like both kinds that you saw in the videos. So clearly evidence of battle on the ship.
Okay. Well, I guess it's time for our little friend to go survey for us.
Eleanor's just nodding in agreement. Yes. Let's send him in. Sorry, dude.
You will send this spider-like bot on in.
Okay.
I suppose.
So the spider bot clacks up to the door, seems to like reach out. The door kind of opens, and it's dark. I mean, your lights, then shine into sort of an entryway that has to go in through to get into medical proper, and sort of disappears for 10-15 minutes as it's like presumably surveying what's in medical, and then kind of comes out. And a little thing opens up on its port, and it starts projecting and replaying back for everybody a video, like a holographic video of what it saw. And
I just high five Jethro. Like, yeah. All right. This is how we get it done.
And so the room is only vaguely recognizable as a medical bay. You don't see quite like tables that you're used to. But there are things that are kind of analogous to a table. And there's lots of instruments hanging down from the ceiling with many limbs with various devices attached to them over top of these tables. There were some remains of bots, and as well as like very desiccated almost non-existent remains, like mummified, I guess, like vacuum mummified corpses of these octopus type alien creatures that were the aliens of the ship. So those bodies alone would actually be a pretty big find. There's very few biological remains that have ever been recovered of aliens, so very valuable. And splayed out on all of the tables and opened up appear to be human corpses.
Yes, of course.
I knew we shouldn't go in there. I knew it. They told me.
Just like one of your voices is bound to be right eventually. One of your voices is bound to be wrong eventually too.
This one wasn't wrong.
No, that's fair. There's definitely autopsied humans in there. That's great. That's really bodes well for us. But it looks like these creatures are dead. We need to recover whatever we can.
Can the spider detect any signs of life or any threats in the room?
It didn't seem to, at least from whatever sensors that it has. And you can see from the video footage, you get a little bit of a logo that you see sort of like on the patch of the arm of one of the human bodies. And it is the logo of Acheron Security, who is a prime security contractor for Monolith Systems, who owns Advanced Explorations Incorporated.
Do we know who discovered this ship? Are we aware of any party that came here before us?
As far as you know, it was newly discovered. It was scanned by some like probes. It was a Monolith expedition, and so Monolith sent you in as the first team. You were supposed to be the first people ever here.
Okay.
How old do these bodies look of the humans?
It's really hard to tell from the holographic video.
Are there any clues? Do we see signs of like massive decay? Like, are they like severely rotting, or what can we see?
They look, because it's it is vacuum outside of your suit. So they're relatively preserved, yeah.
Any time stamps on when the last recording that this vessel had in this bot? At the time frame might be looking at.
That's a good question. And it's probably, there is some sort of counting system, but it would be very hard to make out because it's alien. But I think that, your other translations and all of that. The last recording that was on this bot when it was showing you before it woke up again, just by sussing out what you see now on timestamps of its footage, I mean, those spider bots have been down for the count for a couple of thousand years.
All right.
I want to go in.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You can keep watch, Eleanor.
I think I'm gonna stay with the spider.
Okay.
All right then.
Oh, split the party. Oh, God.
I'll just, unholster my gun.
Yeah.
Have that just at my side.
Eleanor can certainly have a weapon. Is she trained in anything other than light weapons? Does she have an ability that's like practiced in all weapons, or anything that mentions medium or heavy?
Light and medium weapons.
Light and medium weapons.
Without penalty.
Okay. So light or medium weapons, like light weapons can be pretty much anything that you can think of, right? Knives, brass knuckles, small pistols, all those are light. Medium weapons, like maybe a bigger pistol, a bigger sort of one-handed melee type weapon. a shotgun. It's pretty open and flexible to whatever you want, whether it's ranged or melee, and so it's all up to what would Eleanor use?
Honestly, she's psychotic, so probably like a sledgehammer or something to that effect.
Yeah. Some
She's
sort of like
little cray cray.
some sort of like tactical hammer or like breaching tool or something that she uses as a light or a medium weapon.
Probably let's go medium.
Okay.
Probably a good sized
Hefty.
Yeah.
Crowbar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a tactical crowbar.
Very nice.
Can it be
That
special and
tactical
like
crowbar.
shoot, lasers or electricity or something?
Yeah. I mean, it's
How creative can we get here?
You can be pretty creative. It's a sci-fi setting, so if you're going to use it, I mean, it basically a medium weapon does 4 points of damage, and that's what it does. And sort of the form that it takes is kind of up to you.
I think we're gonna have it discharges electricity when you smack it into something.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a security prod kind of thing, like a stun gun. Yeah.
Like an
excellent.
electrified baton.
Yeah. Oh, I like the idea of
Hot.
Eleanor pulling it out and like snapping it out
Yes.
so it like extends.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love
Yeah.
it.
Perfect.
Which
Excellent.
she does because she's left, standing at the door. So
All right.
electric stick is at the ready.
All right. And so the two of you go inside. So it's dark. It is very much that like horror view, right? As like you go into the first person view and you've just got like flashlights sweeping around the room and like gradually illuminating things. So you've got to go in this little entryway and like sort of around a corner to get into medical. And then you see basically the same scene as the bot relayed to you.
Did we watch the full video of the bot being in there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
he played it on
the
like
right length of time.
yeah, he played it on like or it played it sort of on fast forward to like get through it in quicker period of time. But yeah.
I'm looking for a computer.
Yeah, we need to download whatever data we can.
Okay. There is probably some sort of weird medical terminal on a wall somewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna start hooking up a power source.
Okay.
And
Uh,
I'm just gonna have my back kind of towards her, a little at the angle, just keeping an eye on the room, with my gun at the ready in my
Okay.
hand.
Okay. And so it will be a level 5 task.
Okay.
If I'm able to use the machine interface again for myself, is that something I can do while still keeping an eye out?
It will definitely would distract you. You have to focus on it in order to sort of assist Jethro.
We've got Eleanor keeping an eye out. I'll help Jethro.
Okay. So that reduces it to a 4.
And I will use Hack the Impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and your advanced computer would add another level of asset, and so a 3, and then we're down to a 2.
Okay. That is a 19.
All right, and again a major effect as you connect in.
Nice.
This is like a critical success as you connect in, and sort of the medical systems start opening, at least whatever is on this one terminal. And while you are doing that, we will go to outside with Eleanor and the spider bot. As
We're in danger.
as Eleanor, a little port sort of opens in a wall, and a little like grapefruit-sized sphere sort of pops out and like rotates around and sort of it does that thing where it's like scanning the room. You can see sort of like lasers go out and like mapping everything as it like sort of rotates around. And pings on you and floats over, and a couple of little like ports open up and little like barrels poke out as it's like floating towards you.
Huh. Eleanor does not like this. I think I'm going to use my electric baton, and I'm going to attack.
Okay, excellent.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
we will have the Cypher version of an initiative roll. So this is a speed test. And so this is a level 3 creature. So you're going to roll a challenge test like anything else. You can apply effort, you can have skills and all of that as they normally would apply. Otherwise, basically, if you roll higher than its target number, so it's a level 3, so it's a target of 9. So if you roll a 9 or higher, you will go before it does.
Okay. Oh, 16. Yes.
Okay, so you will go first. So it is within range. The way ranges work is you got immediate, short, and long. Immediate sort of up to it's like 20 or 30 feet. This is definitely within immediate range, so that means that you can move around within that and still attack in the same turn.
Okay, she's definitely swinging and going straight for the cannons.
Okay.
Even if smack those and no.
All right. So it is again. So it's a level 3. This is a might challenge. You're attacking with a medium weapon, so you're trained. So it's still a level 3 difficulty. And then if you have, you can spend effort out of your might pool to make it easier if you want, or if you have any relevant skills or abilities on like might attack rolls or melee attacks.
I have an edge of 1, so I definitely want to use one of my might.
Yeah, so the way the edge works is you'll spend effort. So effort costs 3 points out of the relevant pool, which in this case would be might. And your edge subtracts off 1, so it'll only cost you 2. So spending effort on your attack will take it from a level 3 difficulty to a level 2.
Okay. And
So you only need to roll a 6 or higher.
6 or higher. Please. Ooh, 17.
Okay, so you hit, and a 17 is a special dice roll. So you actually deal 1 extra point of damage. So you
Get those shooty things.
So you crack it with the baton. So medium weapon does 4, plus 1, so it does 5 points of damage. The drone has like a little bit of armor, so it does seem to reduce the impact a little bit, but you crack it pretty good. Okay. And so it like sort of sparks and it like bobs back a little bit as the electricity sort of courses over it. And then its nozzles will swing on you and it opens fire. A bunch of like tiny little like rocket darts sort of fire out like
Rocket
needles.
darts?
Yeah, it's kind of like little like rocket needle flechettes that kind of like burst out into your face. And so I need you to make a speed defense roll. So, yep. So it's a level 3 creature. So the tasks basically all work the same way. This is speed based, in that you might have a skill like trained in speed defense or something like that, which applies like anything else does. Otherwise, it's just a straight. It's a level 3, so that's a 9 or higher, and you can, similarly to other things, you can spend effort to make it easier if you want.
Okay, yeah, because I've got my speed pool 14 and have an edge of 1. Okay, so I rolled a 13.
Okay. All right, so a 13 is a success. So these like little flechettes kind of like burst out around you. You tuck and roll out of the way and evade its attack.
Awesome. So she immediately rolls up and goes in for another attack.
All right.
Oh, roll.
Yes. Yep. So go ahead and are you spending any effort or anything?
My might. I rolled a 15.
Okay. So yeah, you crack it again. So that's another 4 points of damage, reduced by its armor. Two. Okay. So yeah, your baton cracks into it, and it sparks a little bit more as this like grapefruit-sized device is stuttering around.
Do we hear this inside of medical?
This is all when you're pretty focused so far
Okay.
on the task you were doing.
I feel like Jethro definitely would be way too focused. I wasn't sure if Loretta would or not.
Yeah, and so this
fair.
yeah, so this has all just happened over the course of, about 6 seconds or so. These like 2 exchanges. So yes, you now sort of hear it inside.
So can I get any help from Spiderbot?
Ah,
Looking like he's gonna like defend or
Yeah.
something.
so Spiderbot was just kind of standing there.
Ask him to help you. He's our friend now.
Spiderbot, please help me.
Fingers crossed.
I'm being
All right.
attacked by a grapefruit. Come on.
So the Spiderbot
There's a
kind
thing
of
that is happening.
yeah. So the Spiderbot kind of turns around, and a little like gun sort of pops out of its back and sort of swivels around towards the grapefruit. And
Make fans robots fight each other.
there's special rules for that in Cypher. And like basically they start exchanging fire, but neither one of them at the moment is really getting the best of each other. They're sort of the same level, so there's like a few hits and there's a lot of misses back and forth as they're sort of successfully dodging each other. But it does appear to be occupied for the moment with the Spiderbot, so it is ignoring you for the moment.
Good, hit it again. Maybe you might grab aggro. I don't know.
Can I get behind it? Is it distracted enough that I can squeak behind it and attack from behind?
Absolutely, and so that would be an asset.
Right.
So that would reduce its difficulty from a 3 to a 2.
Yes. And I got
Get him.
13.
All right, and so
Go,
yeah,
Eleanor.
so this time you smack it again, and it sort of like wobbles sideways as you hit it. It looks pretty damaged, and
Little guy though.
it distracted it enough that this time the Spiderbot sort of drills a little round like right through it, and it explodes in sparks.
Yes.
While that is happening, so inside, you guys did hear this exchange of gunfire outside. And Eleanor, I don't know if Eleanor like was yelling while she was.
Probably. She's pretty. Noise is involved with this one.
Yeah, so pretty
enough.
pretty excited
Yeah.
yelling. And so just as Jethro is like locked into Medical's computer systems and pulling everything down, and you start getting records of like the last things that were happening in Medical. And so there's a bunch of current entries that happened 2 months ago, which is weird because Monolith supposedly only found this like last week.
I want to copy down those records onto
Yeah.
my data pad.
Yeah, so
I kind of like connect it just long enough to download and then disconnect it from everything and put like the firewall back up. I'm like super protective of like
Yeah.
really personal.
So it's a bunch of and the gap to the next records, like from the timestamps that you kind of half understand, was again like a real long time, right? Like
Gotcha.
thousands of years. But the record ones were all like surgeries.
Does it say? Can I get any details specifically? What procedures were done, and also if there are any records of who did them? Because I suspect the spider creatures.
There isn't. It's all sort of like unknown user, and the procedures you don't really recognize because they're all whatever these aliens called, like various surgeries.
Okay, they are. So they're not. It's not like a human entered this data. Is not what it looks like to me.
Even if they did, like it's not in English, right? It's medical speak of an alien computer system.
Okay.
So, but like, you know, you get some little keys, and I mean, you see the bodies, which are all like dissected open, and parts are missing.
All right.
So
go ahead.
Disrupted from this by the noise that I hear from Eleanor with her screaming and trying to beat this thing, I will turn and realize something is happening, and I would like to use a cipher.
Excellent.
I would like to use Slave Maker.
All right.
I would like to attempt. Oh, I guess I don't have to use it unless I succeed, it says. But I would like to attempt to hit this thing with the butt of my gun and see if I can make this thing do my bidding.
Which thing?
The thing that is attacking Eleanor.
Oh, okay, okay. So like you sort of run outside and
Jethro,
whack
you got
against
this.
All right, so roll a d6 for me.
Okay. 1.
That's fine because its level is 1d6 plus 2, which is level 3, and the drone was a level 3, so it is just enough. So it gets shot, and it's pretty heavily damaged. Then you like crack the butt of your gun to it with this little like, it's kind of like in Star Wars, like the restraining bolt sort of thing, right? You just like punch this weird device into it, which like spider clamps onto it, and it like sort of locks in place and then like hums up and is then just like floating beside you.
Manners. That weren't no way to behave. Seriously. All right. Well, now that this is under control somewhat.
So you believe, like you just sort of having an intuitive sense of like it's already like sparking. You think you've got about a minute that this is under your control.
Can I try to fix it real quick enough that it will last me a little longer?
So the length of time that it's under your control is actually because of the cipher's power.
Right.
So it's not due to
it's only gonna be destroyed in about a minute.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's so the cipher, the target remains so enslaved for a number of hours equal to the cipher's level, which is 3, minus the target's level, which is 3.
Oh no!
So if the result is 0, the target remains enslaved for 1 minute.
Okay. I will command it to shut down.
All right. So yeah, you order the probe to deactivate, and it sort of like wobbles and then goes back to the little port that was open in the wall and like slides in, and the port closes.
All right, and then I just I just try to destroy whatever part of that wall that I can.
All right.
Just stay in there. Don't get out again.
I think it's gone.
So while you're out in the hallway, Jethro, you get a real creepy feeling.
That's awesome. I don't know what to do about that. So I'm gonna.
So what catches your attention is in the sort of corner of the room, part of the wall again does this like funny like wrinkling sort of unfolding aspect, and part of the wall unfolds into a humanoid figure, although the proportions are kind of wrong. And you notice it's half made of metal and half made of flesh. That doesn't match. It's like bits and pieces. And in particular, it has way too many eyes and way too many mouths.
Okay.
Like the vaguely head-shaped thing has like 5 or 6 mouths in different locations that you can see. And when it like comes out with its hands, it's like this is definitely if Guillermo del Toro designed this.
Yeah.
There's like some eyeballs in its hands and all over its body.
Amazing.
Does it look like something that I could jack into? Like, is it enough machine?
You don't see any obvious like access ports or anything on it.
See, I know it's an enemy, but Jethro is like, this is a living creature and it deserves a chance. So I think he's going to try to talk to it and make friends. At least try. I think I want to use Hack the Impossible, assuming it's enough machine that I can use that. Because that's just like a persuasion type thing. So mostly I just want to placate it for the moment.
Okay.
Long
See
enough
here.
I don't know. Like, plus, I mean, who am I to judge? Like, I don't want to say that it's ugly because that's from my limited human perception. That's not fair to other species. Is really so.
Yes.
It's a matter of perspective, after all.
So this creature definitely, it seems like it might be sentient. In which case, Hack the Impossible. It's sort of beyond Hack the Impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then I'm gonna try to just talk to it, which is a step more difficult for me because I'm not really good with social interaction.
Can I use my good advice?
So you're in the hallway at the moment.
Okay.
So you actually are not aware of this happening yet at all.
He's gonna
Fair
be
enough.
a good boy and try though.
I believe in you, Jethro.
Thank you.
So it starts speaking, and it's sort of gibberish at first, particularly because like there's just too many mouths speaking, which is weird. And it seems to take a moment before it like resolves into something vaguely approximating English.
It could harmonize with itself. That's cool.
You could self-harmonize for sure. Yeah. And it seems to mutter something about pawns in the game. We will win. We were here first.
Yes, you were. That is very true. However, instead of pawns, how about friends? Do you know the word friends? It's a better one, I promise.
We know the things we join to us. Is this friends? Do not know. Unfamiliar.
Friends. It's friends.
Friends are not joined, but work together.
And so out in the hall, you guys start hearing like this exchange sort of happening quietly. No one's yelling, but you do start hearing it.
Do my voices tell me anything? What bit of insight? Anything?
Yes. They sort of start speaking to you about, oh, this is a little too close to us.
I'm scared of my own
Unstable.
voices. Yeah. Like this is not good. We need to go into the medical room. I think we need to check on Jethro.
All right, let's go check on Jethro then. Jethro. Oh,
So-
Jethro.
What is that? That's bad.
So I'm gonna have Jethro
Hello?
make his social interaction roll now to see sort of the general disposition of this creature towards Jethro. So it's a level 5 creature, and your inability in social interactions brings it to a 6, which is an 18 or higher.
I would like to use my good advice and try to help Jethro with. I'm naturally charismatic despite my hideous form. Maybe I can help Jethro communicate with something that is also not beautiful in the
Conventional
generic
sense?
term, in the traditional sense. Yes.
So we might be able to use that in like the next interaction. This roll is for the interaction that happened sort of before you guys came in.
My bad.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I want to establish sort of when you guys come in, what is the disposition of the creature at that moment?
I understand. All right. Ooh, Jethro, come on.
Well,
Roll real high.
I want to use effort.
Yeah.
Okay. And this
intellect?
is intellect, yes.
Okay.
Use all the effort.
My intellect's getting real low, you guys.
So
Oh,
that'll bring back to a 5.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's a 12.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to burn my other XP or not. I do. He feels
Okay.
very strongly about life forms.
Okay.
there you go. You
Nope,
beautiful
worse.
vegan.
All right.
Oh no.
Jethro's so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Jethro's
okay.
a good boy.
So when you guys come in, the creature sort of, it doesn't even actually need to swivel its head because it's got too many eyes in too many places. And some of those eyes swivel towards you, and some of the mouths on other parts are now talking. And it says, "More to join to us. Yes, we will be friends. Join with us."
No.
I found something. It seems intelligent. It just there's a communication barrier, I think. I think
That
it's
is a
harvesting.
statement.
Communication is elliptical through time loops.
Sure.
Ooh. All right. Well,
You will understand if join.
Does Star Trek exist in this universe?
Star Trek would have. Yeah. No, this is our future.
Okay.
So all of our pop culture totally existed.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in being a Borg, thanks. Hey Loretta, can you maybe talk to this guy? I'm not.
Like with Borg, resistance is futile.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Great.
Thank you for that.
I think
all right. What
we
sort
are-
of a
Must have missed that one episode where.
We are
Yeah.
one of collective.
of course, yeah.
Are there
Yeah,
more
all
than
right.
one of you, or is it just one form?
We are an instantiation of the larger whole.
I don't know what that means.
Where is your larger hole?
It says
my
something.
Scars open. Oh my god! Ow.
It says something about
Oh, it hurts to laugh.
security concerns.
Ooh.
Oh dear. Yeah, it says something about security concerns and not authorized for that level of access.
But if we're to be one, then shouldn't we get to know each other a little first? I mean, it's only polite.
You will learn through joining.
See, that's not a particularly great way to start this conversation. See, all right. Oh, things are falling off my desk. It's fine. It's just, the metaphysical fear is happening.
Yes.
Tearing things down around me.
Perfect.
Okay.
Eleanor, some of its eyes kind of focus in on you, and it says, the joining is valuable. When many become one, you are one and many. We can tell.
She starts doing her little nervous.
Yeah, the many parts of you are just like nope.
Nope's going on in her mind.
Yeah, they're just like too many.
Whispers. No.
We can't handle more.
No, we're
20
full. There's no vacancy.
Yeah, 20 is full. 20 is max. All we can handle.
No. Can I use my natural charisma to see if I can get some sort of answer since we're like in?
Yeah, absolutely. What are you going to? What kind of questions are you asking? What are you looking for?
Why are you all here?
Okay. So this creature is level 5. So this will be an intellect based, like your persuasion. Your natural charisma. Just pop this up. As we pull it up. All right, so you're trained in social interactions for charm, learning a person's secrets, or intimidating others. I'm assuming, are you going for charm or intimidation?
Charm.
Okay, so you're trained in this social interaction, so that takes it from a 5 to a 4. And this is intellect based. Are you going to spend any effort?
Yes, I'm going to spend an effort.
All right, so 3 points of intellect reduced by your edge to apply effort. So that takes it to a 3. So we're now looking at 9 or higher.
All right, come on. Ooh, 18.
18. Excellent. All right, so you're also gonna get a minor effect. So it sort of tilts its head and is like, explanations, yes. Many of us left your system. We wish to explore, become the best, all that we can be. Through joining, we shall ascend. We shall leave this existence of flesh and it's kind of like almost looking at itself with disgust. Flesh and bone, these suits, these houses we wear to go elsewhere and be more. This is merely a process. We must have more if we are to become greater.
Did they want to know if the rest of the crew joined you?
Yes. Oh, yes. People came. The seed of us was here, waiting. They thought they could use us.
You were too many for them.
Instead, we used them.
Did you use all of them? Are they all gone? Are they all joined?
Oh, yes. They're all here now. What was needed?
There's none left alive.
Yeah,
in
it
their suits.
sort of gestures a hand out and says, "This is the cuttings. The waste material."
Somebody else ask a question. Help me out. I've got like 45 voices trying to ask questions.
Oh boy. So the cuttings.
You cut them free.
The discards, yes, took all that was needed to improve. And it's like kind of pointing to its like extra eyes and mouths. And like you look at the dissected corpses, and there's definitely like eyes and mouths and things missing.
Right.
How-
Right.
They want to know, how did the seed get onto the ship? Did you all put it there?
Long, long ago.
And the crew, they didn't
There-
know?
There was the crew of this ship, no, we were their enemies. We were all that was left until those like you came and woke us.
They want to know how long ago that was. How long have you been awake?
Their time, months.
Do you have
have
stories?
any of
Tell us.
Although your perception of time is so limited.
have any of you ascended before?
We thought of it. Calculations, probabilities must have happened before. Must have. Perhaps that's where the builders went.
Are the builders the creatures that used to be on this ship?
No. The builders who built the network.
The network like the Stargate thing that we came through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think builders is what you call them.
Okay.
We called them something similar.
Something tells me this is not how ascension happens.
Mini paths. We delved in memories of your people. I think an expression, more than one way to skin a cat, comes to mind.
That sure is one of our expressions.
Seemed appropriate.
Do I think this is a creature that we should return alive, or would that be a colossally bad idea?
So on the one hand, super valuable. Alien artificial intelligences have been encountered, usually just like low level stuff, like the things powering the drones and things like that. Like people fight big wars and they just leave their weapons around, and sometimes those weapons are smart. This seems much, much beyond that in terms of its intelligence level. So relatively smart. On the other hand, potentially very dangerous.
Do I think it's something that Watchtower could contain? Also,
Maybe.
do I think it's something that we could get to Watchtower before someone else got it?
Maybe. It'd be difficult.
It'd eat the entire ship.
Are you
Eat.
alone?
We are never alone.
No, but I mean, are you collectively, aside from you, alone here?
Yes.
Okay, that's a start.
You're the only suit here besides us.
Yes, and these, and he sort of like gestures at the spider bot that you've activated, and these metal metal suits. It's a kind of skin.
All right. I'd like to spin identity.
All
And
right.
I'd like to say, well, I'm with a group from my world where we have been researching methods of ascension, and we were drawn here for answers, and maybe we could combine our intellects, not physically, of course, at this juncture, but put our heads together, so to speak, and come up with some way. And if your way is the right way, then maybe we amicably join. But we, of course, my people need to definitely further this knowledge that you might be able to provide on this ascension path that we were not previously aware of.
All right. So you activate your spin identity, so you can spend the intellect points for that.
How many points will that one be costing me?
Does it scale, or is it just a straight?
The only part I'm seeing real quick where it scales is if you attempt to convince more than one creature.
Yeah, that's right. So I think
Okay.
it's. So it's whatever just its base cost is. So 2, right? Reduced by your edge.
Okay. All right.
And then you're going to be making an intellect roll.
All right.
So it is a level 5. So we're looking at a 15 or higher.
I am skilled in my charismatic qualities.
All right, so that reduces it to 4. So we're looking at a 12 or higher.
All right. And it's not hostile to me at this moment.
Yeah, we'll say
Right.
it's not hostile at the moment.
Then I'd like to use fast talk.
Okay.
If that is a thing I can also use when speaking with an intelligent creature, and understand me, it isn't hostile, I can convince that creature to take one reasonable action in the next round. A reasonable action must be agreed upon with the GM. Shouldn't put
Okay.
itself in obvious danger.
Okay. So you're trying to convince it to go with you, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's be allies, buddy.
All right. So we'll say that takes it to a 3.
All right. And I will apply effort.
Okay. And so you're spending another 3 points of intellect. And your edge has already been used because, like, your ability, this is all like happening at the same time.
It's the full 3, right?
It's the full 3. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the difficulty level right now is
2. So
2. All
6
right,
or higher.
all right. That's cocked. Can't take it. It was cocked. Okay. All right. It is a 6.
All right. So that is a success. All right.
When it was cocked before, it was like an 18, but it was just on the edge. I was like,
All right. So for the sake of brevity, that works, and the creature agrees to go back with you to further its ambitions for ascension, and to learn from your totally non-existent people. But it totally buys it.
All right.
do wanna
Kick
grab
that can
some-
down the road.
Who knows what'll happen when it gets on your ship and you travel back and whatever, maintaining the ruse. But that is as good a place as any to wrap up, as we've sort of hit our time.
Oh, boy.
But so this alien AI melded intelligence has agreed to go back with you to the Earth system.
It needs a psychiatrist like ASAP.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we will wrap there. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for our new players for coming in to get introduced to Cyper. Excellent. I am so glad.
Oh man.
We're in so much danger when we get home.
Oh, absolutely nothing could go wrong with this plan.
No.
Not a thing.
Pop up
Not a thing.
bookophonias.
Yeah.
No way. It's not our problem right this moment, though.
It's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything is
Okay.
fine.
All right. Yes. So yes, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks to our players for joining us. This is where we sort of wrap up. So I'll have everyone. You can remind everyone who you are, where they can find you, and if you've got any announcements to make in your other internet endeavors, to feel free. So we will start. We'll go the same order we did before. Oh, and your favorite moment. So Litsa, let's start with you.
Okay, I'm Litsa Bronwyn on Twitter. I have a Patreon with my husband, but everything we post for free. It's linked in my bio. It's Baby Squalling Dragons. We make D&D stuff and occasionally other random stuff. I think the next streamed thing I'm doing is a masks game with Polish Ogre. So he'll be tweeting about it constantly. And I think my favorite moment was probably Eleanor attacking the grapefruit. It was really amusing, and I loved it.
I very much enjoyed that as well. Who doesn't like a metal grapefruit to
Right.
get stun rotted?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So with that, Chael, what about you?
Okay, my name is Chael. My Twitter is Chael881. So feel free to follow me. Tons and tons and tons of Dungeons and Dragons and memes and lighthearted fun. Jokes abound. It's my first time playing Cypher, so it was a blast. Loved it. So much fun. And honestly, I think my favorite moment's got to be the grapefruit, because I was actually, getting to attack and not doing something stupid like dying. That was definitely pretty cool.
Excellent. Yes, I enjoyed that as well. All right, and yes, last but not least, Alexis.
I am Alexis, and you can find me on Twitter at VoxFinato, or just type in Alexis Finato, and that will get you there too. I am part of Dice Priori, and we have a weekly Wednesday stream called The Ghost in the Machine, and I play a halfling bard warlock, and it's a lot of fun. But we have a special Crash Pandas one-shot coming up on Sunday that I will be GMing.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be kind of taking place in the world of our main campaign. But yes, it will be raccoons, and there will be racing, and it will be joyous. So catch us over there. And my favorite part was also the bashing of the grapefruit. I would say that expanded to also include like the trying to teach it manners.
That was really good.
The moment that those two culminations of things were just great for me. I loved it.
Your guys'
Excellent.
characters are great. I love both of them so much.
I had a
Yes.
good time playing with you guys. This
Yeah.
was a lot
That
of
was
fun.
a
It was
lot
my
of
first time playing Cypher and my first time playing with all of you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Perfect. So yes, me at MadSci DM. Obviously, I'm generally here on Variant Roles. Occasionally popping up on other channels, usually for like charity streams and things like that. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up, so we've sort of been in an extended break mode since we wrapped Dragon Heist before Christmas, as we've been planning Dungeon of the Mad Mage and how we're going to run that. So that is premiering on Monday, February 4th, and is running Monday evenings, Wednesday evenings, and Saturday afternoons, and possibly the occasional Saturday evening as well. So we're going to be running that in a very episodic style. Dungeon levels being played sort of simultaneously from across the dungeon. Players kind of just coming in for 2 to 3 week commitments to play individual dungeon levels. And we'll build some sort of team type stuff on top of that to kind of make it fun. But we're hoping to just have it as a fairly relaxed, low key, low commitment, low barrier method of coming on to Variant Roles. Many of you have already applied to participate. And so if you haven't seen that yet, we've tweeted out periodically on Twitter. You can find me or the @VariantRoles Twitter, message us to get a link, whatever. Happy to send that out. And we'll keep tweeting it out during the run as well. So that's our main thing. And we will soon have Invisible Sun. So another Monty Cook Games system that we will be running periodically on Saturday nights. The first group is gonna be doing some character creation off stream with me this Saturday. So expect that. We've got to firm down when we're gonna start, but in the next couple of weeks, we should have that coming live. Bleeding Edge is going to continue as like a series of one-shots and maybe expand into a larger game that happens periodically with like rotating players. And that will probably also alternate with other things on Saturday evenings and maybe sometimes randomly on other things. And I guess the next immediate thing would be this Monday evening at... I forget if I announced if it's 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll double check, but follow us on Twitter and we will have the announcement. We have a sort of bridging one-shot happening, tying in between Dragon Heist and Dungeon of the Mad Mage, as some of our Dragon Heist characters will be returning in Skullport, where, 500,000 gold coins have been falling from the cavern ceiling. And they're going to try and get their hands on as much as they can and decide whether to get out of Dodge back to Waterdeep or delve into the dungeon. So we've got some returning players and characters for that. So that's kind of our next thing coming up. And a bunch of other stuff. I guess we'll have No Thank You Evil, another Monty Cook Games thing coming. That's looking like Sunday early afternoon. But we don't have the exact start date firmed up yet, and that's going to be Max running that.
I'm excited. We play like little 5-year-old kids. It's gonna be
The
awesome.
system
Yeah.
looks really cool.
Yeah, it takes place in a like daycare, and yeah, it looks super cool and super fun, and so we're happy to do that. So yes, follow us here on Twitch. Follow all of us on Twitter to stay up to date. We have a link to our Patreon below that you can help support the channel. You can get our fine merchandise at TeePublic if you're interested in a t-shirt. And I think that is it for us. So I will call it there. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And thank you, of course, to our players who make this all possible. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.